everybody, I'm Sean and thanks for stopping by. Today I am going to stitch this design onto a hand towel. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so before I actually get to the machine and all of that good stuff, I thought I would just stop and show you how I'm actually setting up this design. I'm using Embrilliance, and the files that I'm using are from Creative Fabrica or Creative Fabrica. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but you'll see the links in the description if you're interested in this. So I'm going to be using a font that is not a BX font. So I literally am going to be bringing each letter in one at a time. And I did already set this up, but I figure let me go ahead and show you how I set this up because I haven't done a design setup video in quite some time. So in Embrilliance, I am going to, well, let me back up. First, I went to Creative Fabrica and I downloaded the files that I wanted. And so now that they're downloaded to my computer, you need to know where they're downloaded at on your computer. Mine is just under the downloads. So I am going to go to the file, then I'm going to go to merge stitch file. And then I am in the download section of my computer. And I had to think, what is the name of the font? It's Magnolia. And so I know that there is a Magnolia that is a BX font from a couple of different creators, but I wanted to use this one for the sole purpose of showing you how you can use non-BX fonts in Embrilliance. So I'm going to highlight the script that I'm going to be using, Magnolia. Now, you do need to know what size font you're going to be using. For this, I am going to use the smallest for each letter, which would be the 125. And I am going to just scroll through. The capital letters are at the end of this file. And so I'm going to scroll through until I get to the capital M's. And I'm going to select the M. I'm going to move it where I want to set it at for now. And then I am literally going to go through, merge stitch file, select Magnolia because that's the font that I'm working with. And I am going to select each letter that I want for this design. And K, I need a K. Where's the K at? Okay. And then an E. And this, once you're using BX fonts regularly, this seems tedious. But when I first started doing fonts and, stitching names on things, I used Sew It Pro, which I do still have Sew It Pro on another computer, but I use Embrilliance and all of their other suites for so many other things. I just use everything under Embrilliance now. But Sew It Pro is another nice option as far as merging letters is concerned. And I need the U. Oh, I need a capital U. So I got to go to the end here, towards the end. And then I need the P because we're just spelling out the word makeup. She just wants some towels with makeup stitched on it. And the P. Okay, that's a lowercase p. Okay, so now we have all of these letters here. We're not done. You see how over here in the letter pane or the object panel, all of these have these little plus signs because these are each individual design. So we need to merge these together. The easiest way to merge all of these together would be to go over to Utilities and hit Color Sort and then New View. And it merged all of them together. So now this is just one file. Now I'm just looking at it, and to me, it doesn't look like it'll be too thin as far as the density. So I think it'll be okay if I don't try to increase the density. But if you have files that or letters that you find stitch kind of thin once you merge everything together, you can highlight them, go over to stitches, and increase the density. I don't think I needed to do that though. Okay, so that's the word makeup. Now I need to find those eyelashes that I'm going to be putting on. And so I'm going to go back over to file because this was another design that I got from Creative Fabrica. So see, it's called eyelashes, I think. Yes. Okay, eyelashes, and I don't want that open. I am trying to find the smallest one, which I believe will be that, but I want the DST version. And I'm just going to put that right below makeup. And because I want these to be different colors, I think I'm going to change the letterings just for my own peace of mind so that they don't run in together with one lettering. I don't know if that would happen or not, but I'm changing the colors now so that I have two distinct colors for this design when I get to the machine. But I'm not done because I want to add a knockdown stitch. Now, the knockdown stitch is a feature that is part of Embrilliance Essentials, okay? It's not essentials, enthusiast. Goodness, I get all of them. They all start with E, but the knockdown stitch is part of Enthusiast, that part of the Embroidered suite. So I'm going to come over to Utilities. I'm going to select Add Knockdown Stitching. It's going to ask me if I want bidirectional, how dense I want it to be, if there's any inflation. I like the 2.0 inflation because it gives just enough so that if there are longer pieces of fabric or pile that need to be knocked down, it'll give me a nice perimeter. So anyways, I'm not going to deal with the bidirectional because if you look down here, stitches right now says 9,540. And if I hit bidirectional, or how do I see that? Okay, I'm gonna hit OK. So now the underlay is 3,540. But if I deleted that and I went back to not color sort. Oh my gosh. My washer alarm went off and it kind of threw me off. But I'm going to go back to add knockdown stitching, hit bidirectional, hit OK. And that underlay has 5,818 stitches. That's a lot of extra stitching, and I don't really need that dense or that much of a knockdown. So I'm going to delete that underlay because I don't need that underlay to be that many stitches. I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to hit add knockdown stitching again. I'm going to unselect bidirectional because I don't need it to go bidirectional. And I'm going to hit OK. We've got it at 3,540 stitches. And so that's pretty good. And if you zoom in, or if I zoom in, you can see what I mean by the perimeter of the lettering and the design. It's going to have enough going to the outer parts of the design that any extra pile should stay knocked down pretty well. So it's not fluffing up and covering up your design. That's what I want to say. So now we're looking here again. We've got three different plus buttons. That means we have three different designs. So we want to once again do a color sort the same way we did for the word makeup. If we go to utility and hit color sort, new view, and now this is all one design and it has three colors. The knockdown or underlay, it's always your first stitch. And I don't worry about the colors because for one, I know that the underlay, I'm going to try to match that thread to be as close to the towel color, okay? So that it's not so obvious that I use a stitch to knock or flatten the pile down. And then I'm going to just choose whatever colors that I want for the word makeup, and then I'm going to keep the eyebrows and the eyelashes black. So now that I have this, I need to had to get a flash drive so that I can save this. I think that has too much on it. I'll try this one. I'm going to put my flash drive in so that, let's see here, we can save it. And I'm just going to go File, Save Stitch File As. I'm going to find the flash drive, which says dolls because I used to have a bunch of end hoop dolls that I used to do, but I'm just going to save it here. And so I'm just going to label this makeup. And it's saving automatically as DST because normally that is how I save it because I'm going to use the Bai or the Tajima. And even though the brother will read a DST file, I find that it seems to stitch better if I use a PES file, which is the brother format. So I'm going to save it as PES. Going to click save, and now it's on that flash drive, and I am going to take it to the machine. I'll get the towel and everything set up, so let's go to the next step. Alrighty, so for this project, I am going to be using the 5x7 hoop that goes with the Brother VE2200, and I am going to use some medium tearaway stabilizer, and then I'm going to top it with some Solvay, and the Solvay will go on top so that it'll stitch on top of the Solvay and keep the stitches from sinking in as well. And ideally you would think, okay, if I'm doing a knockdown stitch, why do I need to use Solvay? Well, I'm using the Solvay so that the knockdown stitches will actually knock down to the best of their abilities. For the threads, I'm going to use, I hope I have enough of this because this is the closest I could find to match the color of the towel for the knockdown stitch. And then for the word makeup, I will use this fuchsia. And for the eyelashes and eyebrows, I will use this black. Okay, so I'll just set this off to the side for now. Now hooping this, normally I like to float the things that I'm stitching, especially if they're a little bit bulky, but I'm going to try to hoop this the way that it should be hooped. To find a reference, a center reference, I like to fold my towel in half, and then if I fold it all the way down, I can literally mark with a pen or something, or just kind of eyeball it. Where did my stabilizer go? Sorry, y'all, my stabilizer flew away. So what I mean by eyeballing it, with the stabilizer laying on top of the hoop, I'm going to take the folded towel and place it with the fold at the center line. And there is a little nodule inside the hoop that will show you that's the center of this hoop, and it's up at the top as well. So you have it up at the top and then at the bottom. Okay, and so I'm going to slide this back here, put the stabilizer on top, and then I'm going to take the fold and try to bump it up against to where it is lined up with those little nodules. And that'll help you keep it straight as well if you use both the top and bottom as a point of reference. Then we're going to open the towel up to the best of our abilities without moving it from being centered. And sometimes what I will also do is just kind of measure how much towel hangs off of each side of the hoop, because it should be the same amount. So that is about centered, and I am going to take the Solvay and place on top. And it doesn't have to be the Solvay brand, but you definitely want a water-soluble film topper to help you with those stitches. And then I am going to press this down in here. Sometimes it's not loosened up enough, so I am unscrewing it a little bit to give me a little bit more leadway. Now I have it hooped, but my salvia is not straight. Great. Okay. And that's not very balanced there either. So I am going to undo that. I am going to loosen the hoop as loose as I can get it without actually having them separate, because I don't want it to separate. And then I'm going to put it back under here and try again. I'll sit this over here behind me. Okay, let's see here. Some lint or something. Let's see here. And we're going to fold this. Unfolded rather, not folded. That feels right. I am going to try to put the topper back on, the salvia. And let's see here, okay, that looks right. And normally at this point, I would just be like, you know what, I'm just going to float this towel. But we got it on here. And I'm pulling it a little bit, but you don't want to pull it too much. Then I'll pull the salvia. And normally you want to make sure that the hoop is tight so that it doesn't pop off on you. And then we're going to take this to the machine so we can get this design stitched. Alrighty, so we're at the Brother VE 2200 single needle machine. I'm going to take my flash drive, and I have this USB extender on my machine, and I went and put one on all of my machines because after some time I realized going in and out with the USB port to the side of the machine, it was kind of getting a little wiggly. So just to decrease the risk of not being able to use the USB port, I got these USB extenders that they have shorter ones, but I just got these. But anyways, to try to prolong the life of my USB port on the machine. So it stays in the machine, and then I literally just put the flash drive in and out to the port or the extender, okay? And so now that I have my USB port on the machine, I am going to find my design. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time for it to transmit. Okay, so now it says transmitted, and I am going to scroll through my designs to find the makeup design, and that looks like it right there. It is. Now it is not in the orientation that I want to stitch this in. Let me move this out of your way for a moment. Because I'm going to have the towel where it will go on the machine this way. This will be closest to the screen. I want to flip this around so that the eyebrows are at the bottom of the towel. And so I'm going to hit embroidery because I have to be in that embroidery mode. And then I am going to rotate it. And so there is a rotate button right here that you selected, and then you tell the machine how many degrees you want to rotate it. So I think 90 degrees will not be enough, and I'll do another 90 degrees. And now that is how I want it, because it says makeup there and the eyebrows and eyelashes are on the bottom. Okay, so now we need to get this machine threaded so that it can start. We can start with the knockdown stitch. Now I'm going to put my thread holder back up here, and hopefully you're able to see this. Let's see here. And I know some people are like, oh, I don't need a thread holder with my spools. I like it. It works for me. I'm going to come over to the other side here so that I can actually thread it. And it has an auto threader, and I try to make sure I leave enough dragging so that it'll actually thread it. And then I hit the auto threader button and it threads it, and I just pull it through, and always pull it forward and not backwards through the machine. And so now I could clip a little bit of that excess, and we'll get that knockdown started. Now I just have regular bobbin thread. It's just the regular white bobbin thread in the machine, just in case you were wondering. And so now let's see here. I'm going to put the hooped towel onto the machine. And with the brother, there is this little latch right here that you have to make sure it's down and locked in place, or else it will not allow you to stitch, because the machine is not going to think that anything is loaded. Okay, so now we are ready, I think. I do want to do a trace just to see how low the design is going to be on the towel, because I want it to be as low as possible. So I'm going to hit close because we're not changing the orientation anymore. There is a trace feature on this machine. And let's see here. I don't know if you're able to see this or not. Let me turn the... Okay, so this little thing, it looks like a broken dotted line with an arrow on it. That's the trace feature. When you hit that button, this screen comes up. This shows you where the center is, and I want to see where the bottom is. So I'm going to hit that, and it literally moves the needle down. So I'm going to move it back to center so that you can see that's the center of the design. Now if I move it down, that's the bottom of the design. Now I don't mind the bottom of the design being right there, but I would like for it to be a little bit lower. So I'm going to come over here. I am going to hit close, and I am going to move, nope, wrong way. I'm going to move this down to as low as it will go. And then I am going to go back to the trace feature and see where the bottom is. And that's a little bit better for me. So I'll leave it there. Let's give you a little bit more light. And we will go ahead and start stitching this out. We're going to lower the presser foot and everything should be a go. Remember, the first stitch that we're going to be doing is the knockdown stitch. And the knockdown stitch is not supposed to be really seen, so hopefully this color doesn't run out on me, because this is as close as I have to this color for this towel. This design itself has 13,140 stitches total, so it will take a little while. I believe I am running this on the lowest speed as far as the machine speed, but I'll just let it stitch out and I'll come back and check with you. Alrighty, so it stopped stitching for now. The knockdown stitch is complete and I had plenty of thread. I guess I was just panicking, thinking like, oh my goodness, what if I run out? But I'll just take it off the machine real quick so that you can see how the knockdown stitch looks. So that's what the knockdown stitch is looking like. I'm going to put it back on here and we will change the thread out so that we could get the next piece stitched out. Okay, so taking the thread off of the machine. I know I've probably said this too many times, but I always like to clip it and then pull it down through the needle side, because I don't want to pull it back through the tension discs. Now my machine thinks that I'm going to be using that burnt orange for the word makeup, but I'm going to be using this fuchsia. And let's see here. Same deal as the other thread. I leave a little bit of a tail so that it will go all the way through with that auto threader, and then pull some through. And then I can clip what seems to be too much. Presser foot down and we're going to hit go. And just looking at it, I could tell that there's a little too much thread, and so I'm going to go ahead and clip what's hanging off, but do not put your fingers up under there while the machine is going. So we'll let that go ahead and stitch out, and all together my machine is saying that this is a 25-minute stitch out. Sometimes it's pretty much on point, sometimes it's off a little bit, but I'll just go ahead and let it stitch and we'll see what happens. I think that fuchsia or pink, I don't know what color it is. It might be, it looks like fuchsia to me, but it looks like it's really gonna pop against the that light purple. I think that'll be pretty. And one thing I do like about Creative Fabrica, they have the memberships to where you pay one time a year, like maybe $47, depending on what the special is at the time. And everything on that site you can download to use with that membership, as long as your membership is active. So if you're looking to just, practice and do different types of designs, fonts, even SVGs and, what are they called? Cut files. They have all kinds of creative designs on there, because in my opinion, Creative Fabrica is like the digital space for, I don't know, it's like it's almost like Etsy, but everything is digital, because it's a bunch of independent creators that have their items that are listed and sold there. Now, I won't say that every design that I get off of there is perfect, but so far I've been more pleased than not. So I really do like the whole membership thing with Creative Fabrica. So I'm just going to let this go ahead and stitch. I have nothing else to ramble about right now. So I will check back in just a little while. Okay, I am just letting it stitch, and I figured I would just zoom in on it so that you all could see how it's stitching out. Okay, so battery died, but the fuchsia part is stitched out now, and so I am going to change the thread and put the black thread on here so that we could get the last step stitched. gonna come over to this side so I'm not standing directly in front of the camera. Okay, pull that through and clip a little off. We'll try that again. Okay, and so now we are at the last color, which are those eyebrows and eyelashes, and we're going to lower the presser foot and hit go. Then of course, because I did not cut enough of it, I want to clip this extra tail that's kind of hanging, just because I don't want it to take away from the look of the design. Now, what I could have done when I first threaded everything, I could have hit the scissors to cut the thread. It just didn't even dawn on me. But that is another option instead of just clipping it. And so I will let those stitch, which it shouldn't take too much longer. But I'll check back in just for the sake of saving the battery. Those eyelashes have a lot of detail in it, but they will definitely stand out on this towel. And according to my machine, I have about another 2,000 stitches left. So I'll let it continue stitching, and I'll check back in when it's finished. Alrighty, so it is finished stitching. Not too bad of a stitch out. And this is how it's looking. And so I'm gonna take it to the table, get most of the stabilizer off of it, and I'll meet you over there. Alrighty, so we have her at the table. And I'll take these and set these to the side. And I have over the years been told so many different tips and tricks on getting rid of the water soluble stabilizer. And honestly, I tried all of them, and I just end up having to use water. So what I will do, because I don't want to take a chance of pulling the, what is it called, the POW. I'm not going to pull any more of this off. I'm going to turn it over though and get rid of this tearaway. Get this all cleaned up. And get some of the lint out of it, because nobody wants a towel delivered with lint in it. And let's see here. I like the way that looks. It does have a little bit of hoop burn, and that's that impression around the edge from the hoop. But what I'll do, I think I'll just get a Q-tip and dab it, because I don't want to soak the whole towel. So I'll get a Q-tip, I'll dab this to clean it up, and that will allow it to dry faster, and it'll be ready quicker. Okay, so I got a cup with some hot water, and I got some Q-tips, and what I am going to do is, I don't know if you could tell or not, but right here there is some stabilizer, and what I'm just going to do with the Q-tip is just dab along those sections to get rid of that topper or that water soluble stabilizer. and it will leave the towel somewhat wet, but it will dry quickly because it's not like the whole towel is going to be soaked. So I'm literally just going to go through and dab those pieces to get the stabilizer off. Now certainly if you could pull the stabilizer off, or if you have your own way of doing it, definitely use your own technique that works best for you. But for me, it's just different designs. I'll do different ways to get rid of the water soluble. And I think I pulled all of that out. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm gonna let this dry in front of a fan, and then I am also going to, from the back side, I'm gonna get a steam iron and press to try to get rid of some of the hoop burn that's on there, and I'll be back. Alrighty, so she is all finished and ready to go. Once again, the font is from Creative Fabrica, as well as the eyebrow and eyelash design. I just used a basic, was it a 16 by 22, no, 16 by 26 inch towel, and that is it. So you all tell me what you think. If you have any questions, comments, any suggestions, leave them down in the comments. And until next time, you all keep taking care of yourselves. Bye.